And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knew the situation. He knew how the insecurity was. He knew every gamut of this insecurity problem because according to him and Buhari are one, so he knows. It's the same Ahmed Tinubu who was tweeting that the bulk of insecurity lies on the desk of the president. It is him who was telling President Jonathan in 2014, if he cannot tackle insecurity, he should resign. It's him that is in power now. Has he resigned? No. Has he tackled insecurity since he's on his desk? No. What did they do? They issued tweets to people who are killed, just like they did for this retired Army General Rabe Abubakar. You don't politicize insecurity. All you do is to tackle insecurity. Nigeria is not safe, my brother. If you are not aware, Nigeria is not safe. When all these people who are saddled with the responsibility to deal with our situation, when they are thinking that you, who is the victim, is the one creating the problem, then there's a bigger problem. That's why I cannot stop, because any problem you don't acknowledge that exists, there's no way you can solve that problem. So until you acknowledge that Nigeria has a security problem, that is when they can sit up to solve it. But as far as it is today, Senate President does not believe there's a security problem. The governor of Edo State is telling you there's no vacancy in Aso Rock. If they, I don't know who are the they, even if they kidnap everybody, there is still no vacancy. When you listen to what these politicians who are in government positions are saying, then you will know that there's no hope. And there's no way security is going to end or even come down. Because they have not acknowledged that there is insecurity. What they acknowledge is that it is oppositions. It is some Nigerians that are sponsoring those people doing this thing to make their government look bad and to create impression that the country is not safe. Hello, my people. Welcome to my channel. This is Andy Media TV. So today we're trying to look at, several reasons why insecurity in Nigeria can never stop. And the reason is not far-fetched, because when you look at the way our leaders behave, from the president down to the governors, down to the, local government council, the councillors, the National Assembly, the houses of assembly, just name them, all those that are saddled with the responsibility to protect lives and property and also, provide for the welfare of the citizens. The way they think, the way they reason, and the way they talk is something that is so appalling. It's something that is so worrisome because I've listened to some of these leaders to see what they think about the nation and the outcry of the citizen, especially when it comes to insecurity. You know what has been going on in the country recently, and we acknowledge that insecurity did not start with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. We acknowledge that insecurity has been with Nigeria since 2011-2012 when Boko Haram started. But over time, we saw the effort President Jonathan made, to tackle the insecurity around 2014 to 2015, because the election, remember, was postponed at that time because of high level of insecurity, a lot of bombings and stuff like that. But when he brought in mercenaries, they brought down, the insecurity threat level down to the lowest, and that was how election was held. That ushered in this progressive Congress. And at that time, the same APC were campaigning against the PDP at that time using insecurity. Don't forget, Chibok girls were kidnapped under PDP. Dapchi school girls were kidnapped under PDP. Boko Haram was bombing even FCT and some other states, Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, most of these, northeast states then were under siege. Many local governments were taken until the mercenaries, began to recover some of these local, councils. So they marketed their party using insecurity against the PDP. That's what they did. And at the end of the day, they clinched power. And since they got this power since 2015 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, who, has passed away, insecurity continued and began to dovetail into so many other dimensions where we have the herdsmen who are attacking farmers in the farm. We have banditry as well, leading to kidnap of, school girls in Zamfara State, Jengebe, school boys in, I think, Niger State, and so many other, areas. I think in Katsina as well, there were a lot of kidnappings and banditries and all of that. So new dimension came in. During Jonathan, it was majorly Boko Haram at that time, right? Terrorists at that time. But now, we have terrorists, we have banditry, we have kidnapping, we have all sorts right now. And all these things started from APC administration. And then Buhari handed over to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who also said it openly that him and Tinubu are one. So whatever happens in President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, he is part and parcel of what happened there. If you look at even the vice president at that time was brought in by him. So he's part and parcel of the government, which he also acknowledged. So now the threat level has increased from where it was when Buhari was, the president. And now, as you can see, you can't sleep in your house. You can't travel by road as we speak. Otherwise, you keep praying and pleading the blood of Jesus till you get to your destination. Then, as it stands now, the only difference I can say that probably may have happened in this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is that the issue of herdsmen and farmers has dropped down, right? We hardly hear that as we speak because it's like those group who are, doing the herders farmers clash has dovetailed into banditry and kidnapping. So now they are no more in the farms with their cows looking for, farmers to kill and all of that. Now they have dovetailed into kidnapping, which is far easier for them. They catch anybody they see. They demand for ransom, money is paid, they display it on TikTok, they do give away to Nigerians and all of that. That's what it is now. So the dimension is getting worse and things are getting more critical as we speak. So when Nigerians are crying, protesting, shouting, making videos, tweeting, doing all sorts of stuff to draw government attention on how terrible and how bad the security situation has become, it becomes unfortunate how these government officials respond to these issues. The way they talk, the way they react, they do nothing. And they keep telling you, oh, we sympathize with you. Sympathy does not solve security problem. As we are speaking now, the retired army general who was taken together with his wife has died in captivity. And I was reading the tweet from Bayo Ononuga that they sympathize with the family and all of that. A whole retired army general. He was not killed in battle when he was an active army general. Now that he has retired, he now died in the hands of bandits. Just think about this whole thing. So the question is, the response of government is not showing that they are really ready to deal with this problem because they are reactionary. When they now kidnap people, they start looking for them, negotiating with the bandits and all of that. That's not the way to deal with insecurity. Even if you look at what is going on in Iran versus US, the moment Iran does anything against any US aircraft or individual or anything, America responds immediately. Immediately, they don't waste time. So in war, you don't wait to be attacked first. You be in the offensive, not in the defensive. That's the way war works. And it is your arsenal that speaks at that time. It's not about we can't heed to what the bandits are requesting. They want their men who are in prison to be released. And government said they will not release them. So when I keep asking myself, if American special forces can enter Nigeria, go into the forest in Sokoto or Zamfara, where they held one of their citizens, and they were able to, kill the bandits and rescue their citizen alive. What is the difference that our own, forces, we have tactical team, we have a special squad, we have all kinds of groups, we have them, even SWAT, and children are being held in the forest for more than 2 weeks, getting to 3 weeks as we speak, and no hope in sight. There's nothing that is showing that these kids and their teachers is going to come out. Nothing is showing that sign at all. So when you look at all those things, you begin to wonder. We have American soldiers in Nigeria as we speak. They are supporting Nigerian military and all of that. Can't they, work together and see how they can help them to be able to rescue these children? But the only thing they do is to politicize insecurity, and which is the worst thing that can ever happen to a country. When those who are saddled with the responsibility to tackle insecurity in Nigeria, to tackle the problem of security, are the same people politicizing the same insecurity, then it means there is no hope. There is no hope. Because when we talk about politicizing insecurity, when somebody who is supposed to catch a thief is now telling you that, oh, it is the opposition that is asking thief to come, it means it's not ready, it's not serious. A thief is a thief. Whoever sent the person, you don't care. All you care is to neutralize the threat. That is what it matters. But now, it's unfortunate that I watched Senate President when he was trying to commission his project in FCT, was talking about all of this, and they brought in the point that, because they cannot speak about projects, because they can no more speak about subsidy, because they cannot speak about all the infrastructure this government is doing, because they have nothing to say there, then be careful of those who are, trying to kidnap for ransom, that they are not trying to use insecurity to make this government look bad. That is ridiculous. This is from SP, Senate President of a country, the number 3 citizen in the ranking, is saying this. So what does it tell you? It tells you that there is no hope. There is no hope. Somebody that's supposed to be reassuring citizens that government is doing everything possible to rescue the school children, to do this and do that, is the one telling people that there's nothing like insecurity. He even said in the video that People are they are doing all of that to make people feel that Nigeria is not safe. Question: is Nigeria safe? That is the question. Nigeria is not safe. Senate President, please kindly drop all your retinues of security. Enter your vehicle, drive alone, travel from Abuja to Okene. Let's see if you will come back. Let's see if you will come back. At least those people can demand like 1 billion because your value may reach up to 1 billion. You just have army, police, navy, DSS, everything securing you, your family, and you are telling Nigeria that Nigeria is safe. What, are you kidding me? So when you listen to these people, you keep wondering, are they really serious? When I say in one of my videos that these officials of government need to be going through mental evaluation, because it's like some of them are hallucinating. It's like some of them don't know what is reality. That is the honest truth. Anyways, for me to dissect these issues critically, we need to watch some videos. But before that, if you are new to my channel, kindly like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel and put on your notification bell so that when my next new video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. It's good to be getting these things as it is hot. So guys, right now, I'll play you the video of Senate President, what he said, and we'll come back to analyze it. Don't go away.
Prime Minister, you said that people claim that nothing is happening in Nigeria under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If they did not say that, how would they go for election? They have to say that. And if you notice what is happening recently, when they realize that they cannot talk about projects, when they realize they cannot talk about performance, when they realize they cannot talk about good laws, when they realize they cannot talk about the transformation in the petroleum industry, when they realize they cannot talk about subsidy removal that have been promised Nigerians for decades, when they realize that they can no longer talk about most of the abandoned high-rises in Abuja, such as the NRS building, Nigerian Revenue Service building that we commissioned the other day. They now started resorting to paying small young people, recruiting them to cause mayhem across the country. So I want you all who are here to be very vigilant. Be careful about people trying to kidnap for ransom. They are kidnapping in order to cause distraction. They are kidnapping in order to give the impression that Nigeria is not safe. But our men and women in uniform have done tremendously well. I'm aware of that. But many people will not know. And that's why I keep saying that the devil you see today, you will soon see them no more. Elections will come and go. Elections will never be our end. We will see the end of elections. Elections will never see our end.
All right. Welcome back. You heard what he said with his mouth. Commission project and go is talking things that are irrelevant to the project he has come to commission. So if you want to market your administration, please tell Nigerians what you have done. He's mentioning that they built the NRS building, Nigerian Revenue Service building. These people, they don't get these things. They don't really understand. And I think it's high time that when people are elected into power, they need to go through development courses. They teach them what is input, what is output, what is outcome, and what is impact. They need to understand this 5 chain of result, these hierarchies of result. They need to understand what they mean. What is each level? What does the result from each level shows? And how does each the levels, impact the citizens and all of that? Because when you go and build a building, an office building for revenue service employees, how does it change the life of Nigerians? It doesn't change the life of Nigerians. You only provided comfort for the employees who are to work in that office. That's all. So, whatever amount they are generating as revenue, the question is, what have they utilized those resources for in the interest of the citizen? You can hear all the borrowings that they are borrowing. They are about to borrow another $5 billion, as I saw the other day. They are borrowing all those borrowings. They collect revenue from taxes, from custom and excise duties, for just all sorts of revenues. At the end of the day, where are they? What has that done in the lives of the people? That is the point. Where result begins to show is from outcome level, where the changes will begin to show up. Output is just numbers. It doesn't add much value to the lives of the citizens. It is the outcome level, outcome and impact level. That is where the change comes into the lives of the people. But it's bragging that they built the Nigerian Revenue Service building. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just like Rose Wike's building in our FCT, for example. It reduces, the time to commute from one place to another. It makes movement easier and accessible. It reduces even fuel consumption of people because you don't need to be in traffic for too long and all of that. That is the impact is reflecting on the people. That's the kind of thing we are looking at. So they need to understand this hierarchy of result, which one brings changes to the people. Because that is the problem we are having. They are telling you, oh, our GDP has increased, oh, foreign reserve is this billion and all of that. How does he change the life of Nigerians? That is the question. So you can see the bragging. And now the most painful part is putting it that it is opposition that is sponsoring insecurity. It is opposition that is asking citizens to kidnap other citizens so that the government will look bad. This is ridiculous. These are the same people in 2014-15 during campaign that was using the kidnap of Chibok girls, the kidnap of Dapchi girls, and other bombing in Abuja and the rest of them to attack PDP, to campaign against PDP. It's the same people. And as we speak, they have no evidence that the oppositions are the ones sponsoring insecurity in the country. This insecurity has been with us for years. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu knew the situation. He knew how the insecurity was. He knew every gamut of this insecurity problem because according to him and Buhari are one. So he knows. It's the same Ahmed Tinubu who was tweeting that the bulk of insecurity lies on the desk of the president. It is him who was telling President Jonathan in 2014, if he cannot tackle insecurity, he should resign. It's him that is in power now. Has he resigned? No. Has he tackled insecurity since he's on his desk? No. What did they do? They issued tweets to people who are killed, just like they did for this retired Army General Rabe Abubakar. The school girls, over 3 weeks, they are still in captivity with their school teachers, sleeping in the bush. What have they done? Nobody knows. That is the point. So the issue is very simple. You don't politicize insecurity. All you do is to tackle insecurity, not claiming that it's opposition that is sponsoring it. No evidence. Where is the evidence that it's opposition? The opposition that you people have created confusion in their camp, that they are battling with court, battling with other people that were sponsored to engineer crisis in their party. They have not solved those ones. It's insecurity that they are creating. So, which means you people agreed that in 2014, 2015, you people also sponsored insecurity to remove Jonathan. Let's follow that logic. That's what it is. So if we follow what the Senate President has said, it simply means that in 2014, 2015, when all this insecurity bombing in FCT, in Suleja, in Nyanya, and the rest of them were happening, that it is APC that was sponsoring it. Let's go with that analogy. Since you are claiming that it's opposition that are doing the insecurity, that they are sponsoring people to kidnap people for ransom so that this government will look bad, so that it will be as if Nigeria is not safe. Nigeria is not safe, my brother. If you are not aware, Nigeria is not safe. If you are being followed by retinues of security, I am not followed like that. My families are not followed like that. Those schoolgirls in the kidnappers den in Oyo State, they don't have security following them. Other Nigerians traveling by road that they pack the whole bus, there are no security following them. Former retired General Rabe Abubakar, who died in kidnappers' captivity, that day was traveling with the wife. They were not followed with the retinues of security that follows you. We are all alone to ourselves. And that's why we are crying, asking government to do something. So don't come and politicize insecurity, Mr. Senate President. You should do better than that. I even heard him talking about good laws. What good laws have you made? Let us know. What good laws? Tell us the good laws. You did your electoral act to favor you people, consensus and what have you. That's what you people did. So tell us, which good laws have you been passing? The tax law that will impoverish the people the more? So tell us, what's the good law? I don't understand. They can't separate, politics from reality. The reality is Nigeria is not safe. Everybody is living in fear. Today is the school girls in Oyo State. Tomorrow we don't know where next they're gonna hit. Nobody knows. And we are not privileged with security. To go with security. We are not privileged like you and your family. So that's the point. As we're even, getting offended with the statement of Senate President, the governor of Edo State came from nowhere and was even doing worse than the Senate President has said. That is the point. He came out in that function and stood up and said there's no vacancy in Aso Rock. That's the same man that said he's going to give President Tinubu 2.5 million votes when the total number of registered voters in Edo State is less than 2.5 million. It's about 2.2 million. Let's even call it 2.3 million. So they're even less than the number of votes they want to give President Tinubu. And him, who is a governor today, scored about 300,000 votes to become governor. But they want to give somebody else 2.5 million votes. When these people talk, I don't know whether they take loud or they take... what do they call them again? Laughing jackass or whatever they call all those kind of. Because the way they talk, you keep wondering, where did they get these kind of people who are in leadership position in the country? No assessment, no, no, credential assessment, no checking background of people. Where have they been before? What have they done before? Once you have Godfather, your Godfather makes way for you and plug you in. That's it. Whether you are qualified or not, whether you have capacity or not, they just put you there and you start shouting, hire Otimpus, who when you are passing, they'll be hailing you. That's what Nigeria is all about. Look at what the whole governor is saying. Chief Security of a state. What was he saying? Let's watch this video so you hear by yourself. Let's watch it. Don't go away.
And now to Edo State, where Governor Monday Okpebholo is generating fierce reactions after making a stunning remark at an APC campaign event in Edo South on Tuesday. The governor alleged that the opposition is deliberately sponsoring insecurity to distract President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, declaring that even if the opposition kidnaps every one of them, Aso Rock has no vacancy, insisting that the rising insecurity is nothing but the handiwork of the opposition. Let's take a look.
Let them stop kidnapping. Kidnapping cannot give them villa. Kidnapping cannot give them government house. Kidnapping cannot give them House of Assembly. It cannot even give them Senate. Not even House of Rep. They should stop disturbing our president by using kidnappers to disturb us. Let them know they can even kidnap me. Yeah, there will be no vacancy in Aso Rock. They can even kidnap all of us. Yes, there will be no vacancy in Aso Rock.
Welcome back. That's the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, was there. Oh, there's no vacancy in Aso Rock. If they like, let them kidnap all of us. There's still no vacancy in Aso Rock. If they like, let them kidnap all the school children. There's no vacancy in Aso Rock. Just look at it. Somebody that's supposed to focus on the state, deliver democratic dividend to a state. Edo State is one of the hub of kidnapping, one of the hub of insecurity. Go and travel in the Awuchi Road. Go and travel and see if you will come back. Go and travel. It's worse, even in the state. And he's there doing politics. He's doing politics because he doesn't understand. He doesn't know what is supposed to be done. He thinks that being a governor is to be shouting to you. Even if you love the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even if you want to give him the whole Nigeria, the vote of the whole Nigeria, the time has not come. Politics has not begun. Campaign has not begun. When the time comes, tell him what you will do for him. Show him how you will get the result. We are in Nigeria. We are watching. When the time comes in January, during the election, the voting period, we will see how many votes you will get. If you like, go and write it. Write it. We will see how it will work. So you don't just come to podium, pick up the mic and hitting the politics. So who are the they you are mentioning? Who are those they? If you have evidence of who and who is sponsoring the security and other, mention their names. Who are they? You are using the word they. We don't know who are they. So if you don't know what to say, keep damn quiet. That is it. You don't need to talk. There are many governors in Nigeria who don't speak. They are busy doing whatever they can do from their little enclave. You mustn't every day be on TV causing nuisance on TV. That is the point. So what's the essence of all of this? By January 2027, we will know if there is vacancy in Aso Rock or not. When the citizens have spoken. You are not the one to determine if there is vacancy in Aso Rock or not. If there is no vacancy, why are they contesting the election for the office of the president in 2027? There is vacancy in Aso Rock. It is January 2027. We know who will take over that vacancy. So let me correct you on that. If you don't know what you are saying, please consult people. You don't just come on stage and be hitting the polity and be saying whatever you want to say because you feel you are a governor. So that you stop this. We have problem. And why I was saying that insecurity will never end in the country is that just look at the people I just mentioned. Senate President, Governor of Edo State. I'm still going to play you the one from the FCT Minister. When all these people who are saddled with the responsibility to deal with our situation, when they are thinking that you, who is the victim, is the one creating the problem, then there's a bigger problem. That's why I cannot stop, because any problem you don't acknowledge that exists, there's no way you can solve that problem. If somebody does not acknowledge that he has HIV from the test result, there's no way we'll be going for the treatment. That's it. That's why some people just die, because they have ailment, but they knock it off that no, it's not the ailment. It's not the ailment. Until the thing reaches the point, it strikes them down. Many people have blood pressure, but to them, no, it's not. I was just stressed. Until the thing hits 200 and knocks them down. They will say they were killed from village people. So when we cannot acknowledge that we are in a crisis, security crisis, and begin to wake up to deal with them, that's when that what it just simply means is that we cannot solve that problem, because we have not acknowledged that that problem exists. Remember, when Chibok school girls were kidnapped in 2014, right? When the news came to Jonathan, they didn't believe that it's true. Because that kind of thing has not happened before, where they go to school, kidnap over 300 and something people. It has never happened before. So it was difficult for them to acknowledge that information is true. It took them days before they now agree that, oh, it's true that this thing has happened. That's when they now came out and began to speak, and the wife was, crying on TV and all of that. So it was then they now begin to begin to action to find out what they need to do on how to bring the case back and all of that and all of that. So until you acknowledge that Nigeria has a security problem, that is when they can sit up to solve it. But as far as it is today, Senate President does not believe there's a security problem. He believes that it was opposition. Some group of people and opposition parties are sponsoring the insecurity so that they will make their government look bad. And he said that Nigeria is safe. I don't know where the safety is in Nigeria. Even in FCT, kidnappers are kidnapping people from their estate. So I don't know what he means by that. Now the other one in Edo State, the governor of Edo State, is telling you there's no vacancy in Aso Rock. If they, I don't know who are the they, even if they kidnap everybody, there is still no vacancy. So to him, they don't care about what is happening, how many people that were kidnapped. He doesn't care about the school children in the bush. What he cares about is that 2027, Tinubu will return back. And he, as Edo governor, will ensure that he returns back by giving him 2.5 million votes. So he now think once Tinubu gets 2.5 million votes in Edo State, Tinubu will become winner of the presidency. That's his thinking. That's his thinking. So he doesn't know what we are talking about. Has he said anything about the school children that were kidnapped? What contribution has he made? Nothing. In his own state, hub of kidnapping, hub of criminality, what has he done? Nothing. So this is the problem I have. Instead of people to go to the president and tell the president the truth, this is what the situation is, Mr. President. All these people protesting, honestly, what they are saying is true. Mr. President, how do we tackle this thing? Can we deploy all the army? Can we recruit more people? Can we bring in mercenaries? Can we just think of solution? There's nothing wrong bringing in mercenaries. Nothing is wrong with that. That's why they have such organization. They have in South Africa, they have in Russia and all of that. That's why they have them. You bring them in, they do their job, you pay them, they go. They don't have any string attached with country or anybody in power or whatever. They don't take orders from anybody. All they care is their job description. Tackle these people, clear the forest and all of that. They go do their job, collect their money and go. But our own people, when you get there, it's a Fulani person and I'm Fulani, no, I can't kill him. You tell the person, wrong. You see the difference? So, machinery have no attachment with anybody. If he goes there, anybody he sees, you get them down. But our own people, remember complaint coming from some army officers who have deserted and all of that. What they always say to us, in most of their videos, what they see in the forest. So these are problems. Sitting down to iron out how to tackle this problem is what they are politicizing. That is the problem. Anyways, just listen to the Minister of FCT, who is telling people not to politicize insecurity. And at the same time he was saying it, he was also politicizing the security issues. Let's hear him and we'll be right back.
You have said it here that teachers were being kidnapped in FCT before. Why is it that people never rose up to say, oh, let the teachers in Abuja also be released? So why is this one not particular? We're all concerned.
This comment has generated some backlash in some quarters. However, when asked during an inspection in Abuja, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike still maintained his stance.
Even the man who led the protest came, he said, sir, that teachers had been kidnapped in Abuja. He was the one who said so. I never said so. And I said, look, we appreciate, we fit for it, and I know the government is doing everything possible to see that those who are kidnapped have been released. But however, why should we politicize? It is politics. And I don't care what anybody to say what their own view. Why not sit down and reflect what I said? Is it correct or not? If it happens in Sokoto, we should all be concerned. If it happens in Taraba, we should all be concerned. If it happens anywhere, we should all be concerned. That there's no particular area or particular act that's being carried out in a particular area should not be where everybody will say we are concerned. That's the point I'm trying to make. And when anybody likes it or not, it's their business. They're entitled to their own view. I hear some people who just talk about that or whatever. I don't play to the gallery. I don't say anything for the public to like me. But I say something that, look, everybody is concerned about this particular thing that's going on. But we should not also politicize it. That's what I said.
Welcome back. You heard what he was saying. There was kidnap of this Oyo, school children. About 30-something of them plus their teachers, bringing the number to 40-something. Now, people were protesting, asking government to rescue these children. Remember, the children were in the forest. Children's Day came, they did it, they were in the forest. Children's Day passed. Till date, Democracy Day passed. June 12th. Till date, they are still there. For over 2 weeks, over 3 weeks now, they are there. So FCT minister was now saying, when the students were kidnapped in FCT, teachers and the was kidnapped in FCT, nobody protested. Why are they not protesting for this one? Just think about it. Just think about that statement alone. And he's busy telling people not to politicize insecurity. So what is he exactly doing? So what he's not saying is that people did not protest before, and now they are protesting because it is them that are in power. Probably. When they kidnapped the other one in FCT, is it not APC that was in government? It's APC. So these are school children, even babies, kids, 2 years, 3 years, kids. But he's sending his own children to study in the UK, to study abroad. That's why he's saying what he's saying. Assuming he has his own kids among those people in that bush, you will see what will happen. Don't forget, the former Minister of Power, Adela Buride, in Oyo there, the sister and his 2 twins boys were kidnapped. 3 days, within 3 days or thereabout, police found them, rescued them. Why? It's connected to somebody that is among the top, right? Former minister. He just resigned in May to contest governorship election. So you can see the sweetness because that one touches somebody that's within their class. But those school children, children of the poor. So look at the teachers. Who cares? Nobody cares. Over 3 weeks, they are in the forest. But the other family, within 3 to 5 days, they were rescued by the police. So what's the difference? That's the question we're asking. So when Nigerians who are say supporting this administration, supporting this APC government, one day when they kidnap your own family, that's when you will know what people are feeling. In my place, they say when they carry a corpse that does not relate to you, you will think it's a log of wood because you don't care, it's not any member of your family. But the day they will carry corpse, your own brother or sister or family member, that's when you feel the impact of losing a loved one. Now look at that woman, the wife of Rabe Abubakar, that retired general, watch his husband die. The other day I saw a video of his legs swelling. I now felt maybe he's diabetic or something. And this man will not survive in this forest. And those people, they don't care. What they care is to collect money. That's it. They don't care. To say, hey, this man is sick. Let's let him go. Let's hold the wife. They don't care. It's the money or government releasing their people as they wanted. I know the man won't make it. When I saw that video of his swollen leg, I know he will not. Because I already felt he may be diabetic or maybe hypertensive. Any of these two. He passed away. Bayo Onanuga has issued a tweet. That's what they are good at. Issuing tweet. That's why I have about 10 or 5 to 10 communication essays to be issuing tweet when they kidnap people and they die. That's it. The wife watched the husband die before him dead. Remember there's a couple in Asaba. They kidnapped husband and wife, pregnant wife. They brought ransom. The one that had issue with the government issue had it since then. We have not had anything on whether the man was finally released or not because the wife was released when the first ransom was brought. Till today, nobody had anything about the man anymore. He even put his properties for sale to rescue himself. That is the country that we are talking about. That's the country Senate President said is safe. If Nigeria is safe, what is the U.S. military doing in Nigeria? Why are they in Nigeria to support people? Why is the President of U.S. raining bombs in the camps of these terrorists if Nigeria is safe? For Christ's sake. If you don't know what to do with insecurity, just keep quiet. That's what you should do. Just keep quiet. Don't start talking things that anger the citizens. People are going through hell. You know how people raise those ransom they pay these criminals? Do you know? Some people sell everything they have just to rescue their loved ones. Those who cannot raise money, they kill their loved ones. Whereas people are elected, paid to provide security, zero security. People are paid to care for the welfare of the people. No welfare. They only care for their own welfare and their own security. That's exactly what happens. So it's quite unfortunate when you listen to what these politicians who are in government positions are saying, then you will know that there's no hope. And there's no way security is going to end or even come down. Because they have not acknowledged that there is insecurity. What they acknowledge is that it is oppositions. It is some Nigerians that are sponsoring those people doing this thing to make their government look bad and to create impression that the country is not safe. That's a summary of this whole thing. But I think that the president is beginning to have some understanding of the situation Nigerians are going through. Why do I say so? Watch this video.
Your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate.
Did you see the video? Some psychophants trying to sing for him. On your mandate we shall stand. On insecurity we shall stand. He told them, shh, shh, don't sing. The situation of the country now doesn't deserve this song. Shh, don't say. You see that? The president himself is telling those people, don't sing, close shop. What funny memos was the laughter of this guy in the video, the way he was laughing. It was so crazy, man. So the guy was like, what the heck? The same mandate man is telling people there's no mandate now. He's not standing on any mandate. You get the point. So I think it's beginning to understand that those sacrifices will not help him, especially 2027 that's coming. You can see the protests on the street. Very dark man and his crew, leading the protest. Nigerians are tired. They don't really understand this thing. There's no place to breathe. You go to the market, you can't breathe. Any little thing you buy, 100,000 has gone. Just two things you may just buy. How much is your pay? You go to transport yourself from one point to another. Thousands of naira just to enter one vehicle from point A to point B. I've seen people crying at the airport. They park car for a day or two. By the time they came back to carry their car, they give them bill 200 and something thousand for parking in the airport. So when you look at all these scenarios, you begin to wonder, what is the income of the people? How many people even have jobs to earn legitimate income? That's why you see a HK, everywhere. People doing fraud and all of that. Those also bad. Stealing from people globally, bringing bad name to the country. They don't understand these things because they have access to millions, billions all the time. They have access to that. So guys, it's unfortunate of what we have found ourselves in, of the kind of country that we find ourselves in today. And unfortunately, our leaders are not doing quite much to tackle the security problem. Security is key. That's number one. That's why the Constitution put it that in summary, the job of the government is to protect lives and property. Because when your life is not protected, your property is not protected, then you are gone. You are one step away from death. That's what the Nigerian system is now. Anywhere you are going, you are praying. Anywhere you are traveling to, you are praying. People can afford flight. Flight is too expensive. They enter road. In fact, many people also love road travel. But now, it's impossible for them because your heart will be beating all the time. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you think about this whole thing. But for me, I think our leaders should do better. They should stop politicizing insecurity. They should stop saying this kind of thing. They are saying that it's opposition or there are some people sponsoring insecurity. People doing this thing, they're just doing it for fun. They're doing it, making money. They're doing it, enjoying themselves. They like killing people. They like hurting people. They like all this. So it's the duty of government to stop them. Citizens don't bear arms. It's government and their officials, their security officers that bear arms. It's their job to stop these people, not politicizing it. So that's my stake on this. So I don't know what you think about all of this. My comment section is open for you guys. Put in your comment at the comment section and we'll continue to talk about issues bothering our country, bothering us as individuals and as citizens. So we do hope that these guys should start listening and start acting based on the feelings and what the people are going through. So that hopefully one day we can see some changes. So it is what it is. So before I leave the stage, guys, if you are new to this channel, please kindly like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so that when my next video drop, you'll be among those that will be notified. Thank you for watching this video to the end and thank you to always clicking on my videos. Thank you for those who have subscribed and thank you for those who are yet to subscribe. I hope to see you on my platform. I'm signing out. See you.